the government is issuing an order with immediate effect under the Emergencies Act, authorizing Canadian financial institutions to temporarily cease providing financial services where the institution suspects that an account is being used to further the illegal blockades and occupations. This order covers both personal and corporate accounts. Third, we are directing Canadian financial institutions to review their relationships with anyone involved in the illegal blockades and report to the RCMP or CSIS. As of today, a bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order. In doing so, they will be protected against civil liability for actions taken in good faith. Federal government institutions will have a new broad authority to share relevant information with banks and other financial service providers to ensure that we can all work together to put a stop to the funding of these illegal blockades.
So let me tell you a funny story. When I did the down payment for my house, I paid in cash. And it's very interesting because I never leave my money in the bank. Every single time I have money in the bank, I go to the ATM and I withdraw it. And there's a limit on how much I can withdraw at my ATM, but that's okay. I'll go the next day and the day after that if it's required. So I go to the bank with the stacks of cash like, right? Because it's a down payment for a house. And I was paying in Romanian money. It was a lot of cash. I was even afraid to walk on the street with them, but I did. And everyone was looking at me like I'm some sort of savage from the Congo. It's like, why are you behaving like this? He's paying with money. Like, he's paying with cash. They even asked me to sign a letter saying that, yeah, like, this is my cash. I'm not money laundering or anything. There was even a law for that. Like, it's suspicious. Why are you paying with cash? Why do you not use the banks like normal people? And I gotta say, there's two reasons why I did it. And I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not telling other people what to do, because I know it's not going to work, right? I'm not trying to start a movement or anything. It's just like the way I act because I think this is appropriate. Number one, there is absolutely no incentive, no advantage of holding your money in the bank. Now, it used to be that when I was a kid, there were a lot of people that would have their money in the bank because they would get a lot of interest rates. So if you wanted to have savings, if you wanted to get money and avoid inflation, you would hold your money in the bank and you would get a lot of income from that. You'd get the savings. But now the savings are almost non-existent. And why should they be? Why should they even exist? Because every person has to go through the banks. Like in my country, if you get a job, you gotta have a bank account. You get your money, you get your wages through the bank. So of course banks have no incentive of giving you anything if you keep your money in the banks. There's a lot of electronic transactions, a lot of commodity, a lot of people want to buy stuff online. So a lot of people keep their money in the bank. Another reason why I don't want to keep my money in the bank is because of the temptation. I have an addictive personality. Like if I go online, I start buying skins for League of Legends, I might end up super chatting some VTuber. Like I can't control myself at the computer. It's just one click away. So I like having the money at hand because it's a lot easier like that. It's a lot more comforting for me. If I know I can't help myself, I'll find out different ways, right? And then it's the matter of principle. Now, in the European Union, if you actually read the terms of service, if you read the final print, you realize that the banks can do something which is called a bail-in. So if a bank would go bankrupt, they can actually seize the money from their customers in order to pay the bank's debts. And I'm like, fuck that shit. I know it's probably not going to happen. And I know it's almost not impossible for that to happen. At least in the near future. Within like the next 5 or 10 years. But I fuck that shit. Why would I agree with it? Why would I consent to something like it's a matter of principle at the end of the day. So that was why I went with the stacks of cash and everyone looked at me. It's like, whoa, that is so horrible. Oh my God, like he's got cash. Oh, he's got cash. But there's something else that I noticed, by the way, which is when the pandemic started, if you guys remember, there are a lot of journalists talking about the cashless society. Like, cashless society this, cashless society that. And I was like thinking, like, what the fuck does the pandemic have to do with cashless society? It's not like the virus was spread through cash. But the more you look into it, there are plans for a centralized digital dollar or a centralized digital euro or a centralized digital yuan. The centralized digital yuan is actually the first one that came around. And what they want to do in this new system is that, yes, there would be no more cash. Absolutely no money whatsoever. And the only way you could do transactions would be electronically. But the thing is, like, the money would not necessarily be yours. Because you'd get an account which allows you to see how much digital dollars you have or digital yuan you have. But the central bank could at any time, like, for example, take money away from your account, put money into your account. Like they would be able to play with your account as much as they want. Like, if you look at China, what they can do right now with the digital yuan system. For example, if you have a traffic violation, let's say you ran a red light, and there's a robotic camera which catches your car exactly as you do that, you don't even have to go to pay for that fine. It's instantly taken away from your wallet. So if you were thinking like, okay, well, I want to contest the fine, I want to, argue my case in court, well, yeah, you can do that, but the money is still taken. Like, they take it from you first, then you argue your case, then if you win, they give the money back to you. Then they can just take money if you don't spend it. So in China, they were like, in order to desensitize people from hoarding, if you don't spend your own money within an adequate time period, they can just remove them from your credit card. They lose value over time. It's kind of like a gift coupon. Like, if you buy a gift coupon for a store, you have to use it within a year, because otherwise it loses value. Kind of like that in China with a digital yuan. They can do all these things if the money is digital. They can seize your accounts if you're a bad boy, if you do the Hate-Sprache online, or if you have... And by the way, you don't even need to do the Hate-Sprache. You can just, like, form a political party that's against the current establishment, and they will find a couple of cases where some members did the Hate-Sprache, then they're going to paint all of you with the same brush. Because that's the tactic, right? It allows the people in power to maintain control and maintain their positions. The people in power, the thing they're afraid the most is losing their seats. That's what terrorizes them the most. It's not a fact like, oh my god, there's hate speech all like, no, they don't give a shit. Like, what they care about is losing their seats. It's being called out. So now you see, like, what can happen in Canada. Now, I'm a little bit shocked that they decided to do this, honestly, because what is going to most likely happen is it's going to cause a run into the banks. Like, every single Canadian after hearing this is probably going to hug their friendly ATM in order to withdraw money. Because think about it, like, it's not even if you agree with this, like, even if you think that the truckers, which Trudeau told me is just a small fringe minority of them, like, it's not a lot of truckers, right? It's a small fringe minority, according to Trudeau, source Trudeau, fact check. The companies are the ones that can freeze your assets now without a court order. So if a bank, for example, does a mistake, you have no recourse. Like, if they accidentally, like, mistake the name or the address, or they're using some knowledge, some libel or slander against a person that is being pushed by a journalist from a mainstream publication, they can't be sued. Like, they bypass the courts. This is insane. This is not something that happens in a democratic country. It's not something that happens under a nation that is considered to be a state of law. Like, bypassing the courts in order to seize a person's private property. That is communism, really. Like, you're nationalizing people's shit. And it's not even like, again, you might say, well, yeah, but they're doing something illegal. They don't need the courts. Okay? Like, in order for something to be a crime, it has to go to court. Like, a judge needs to sign on that. But no, it's now up to the private company, which literally can do whatever they want now, because they are protected from lawsuit. Like Joe Biden said, it's like, oh, well, the only companies protected from lawsuits are the gun manufacturers. Well, apparently the banks in Canada, you can add them to the list now. And it's like any private business, right? So your boss can choose not to pay you, right? Like, just understand, it's like your boss, if they don't like you, they can choose not to pay you and say, well, I thought he was with the truckers. You can't sue him. You can't sue him. You can't do shit. Oh my God. Like, I never thought I would see this. And this is for your health, by the way. Of course, absolutely. It's important to remember, like you have to do this. There is no other way. There is absolutely no other option. I mean, Canada, they love human rights, they love freedom, but like they are pressured into doing this. They have tried all the other alternatives. Everything has been tried, all the other solutions. So now they're going for the desperate measures in order to keep people safe. My God, if this is how governments keep people safe, I would be terrified to see how governments keep people in danger. I mean, I don't even want to know. So yeah, there's a lot of unhappy folk in the comment section of the Twitter video. And there was a person saying, like, this is the future, you know? Like, they don't have to imprison people. They have to unperson people. It's the Chinese model that they're applying. You don't have to go to prison. Prison costs the government money. But what they can do is they can unperson you. They can make your money not work. They can ban you from traveling. They can ban you from using any type of service. That's what they can do. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do then? So yeah, this is what a lot of people were worried when this whole shit's happened. It's like, well, the governments are getting too much power, aren't they? A little bit too much. But it's for your own safety, of course. Again, if this is for safety, what would governments do if they wanted to put people in danger? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.